Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Porte ISD, and thank you for being here. It is now 7:09 p.m. Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. And I hereby call this meeting to order. Notice of this meeting has been posted in a manner required by law. The Board of Trustees of the Porte Independent School District is now convened. Tonight, Trustee Shoppy will not be in attendance, as he is hosting a track meet today and tomorrow. However, let the record show that the remaining 6 trustees are in attendance and a quorum is present. As the Porte ISD Board of Trustees, every student's success is our #1 priority. We are here to set goals, adopt policy, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and communicate the district's vision and success to the community. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. School board meetings are open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. However, audience participation is limited to the patron presentation portion of the meeting. The board members may not respond to those comments made in the public comments section. These proceedings may be recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. Before we begin, I wish to sincerely thank you for taking your time to join us and for your interest in the Porte Independent School District. At this time, will you please stand for the presentation of colors led by the LaPorte High School ROTC. Tonight at left guard, Cadet Private David Kemp. Texas Flag Cadet Private First Class Isabel Grant. U.S. Flag Cadet Private First Class Shelby Martinez. And right guard Cadet Private Jeremy Summer. This time, if you'll join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please bow your head as tonight's invocation will be given by LaPorte ISD Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Walter Jackson.
Dear Lord, we are meeting tonight to conduct matters of school district business. We ask that you guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, gentleness, right thought, and speech. Encourage us to lay aside any differences and allow us to remain open-minded. We ask that you make the necessary provisions for us to do the work that we are called upon to do. We ask that you give us the courage to make the difficult decisions and reignite our passions to love and care for our most prized possessions, our students and teachers. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our endeavors so that our affairs may culminate with a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance, strength, hope, and love. Amen.
Thank Now be seated. We will move on to item 5, board recognitions, and tonight's recognitions will be presented by Director of Communications, Mr. Adam Holland.
Okay, well, it's a good thing I have good gloves. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are being treated by with a little bit of music from the LaPorte Junior High School Girls Choir. A little warm-up before they go to UIL contest tomorrow. Y'all come on in. we're trying something new to prevent lawn cams. The choir already knows the exit this door, kind of make your way around here. Parents, if you would do the same, we really appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, first on our recognition list tonight is our Lomax 8th grade 8A basketball team, district champions. Give it up for the Lomax. Y'all can come on up. I'm going to read a little bit about you, let everybody know what you guys did this year. First, again, they won the district championship following an 8-1 regular season record and a sweep at the district playoffs. Now, the Lobos opened up the district tournament playing a tough Barry Miller team. Lomax won the game by 25 points.
Wow.
Congratulations, Lobos. Now we have some certificates to pass out. Stay where you are. First of all, Miles Martinez. Come on. Kylan Carter. Truman Mikulin. Hovan Kalunga, and I understand he is not here, but still, way to go. Peyton Smith. Josh Wells. Sean Simon. And Angel Rodriguez Amaro. And ladies and gentlemen, just a little side note here. Several of our student athletes on the Lobos 8th grade A basketball team also play tennis, and they had to hoof it over here from a tennis meet tonight. Glad y'all could make it, guys.
Back to back.
Congratulations, gentlemen. At this time, we would like to honor our
Thank y'all for coming.
Nothing better than double. Nothing better than double.
Yeah.
Never did them on
At this time, we would like to honor the 2024 valedictorian and salutatorian for LaPorte High School, and with that, here's Principal Carlin Grammer.
So as always, it's a great pleasure to honor our two highest ranking graduates for the school year. A couple things about these two girls. First, they're so quiet and unassuming. I wonder how short our valedictorian and salutatorian speeches are going to be. But no, they're great students. They take care of their business on a daily basis. They've done that all of their academic careers, and we're so proud of them. They also did me a favor in the fact that I only have to remember one last name. These two girls are twin sisters, and you're going to recognize their last name because in 21, their sister Lily was named the LaPorte High School valedictorian as well. So, and hang on just a second, girls. I do want to recognize a person because that doesn't happen without the support of parents who do a lot of hard work. And so, it is my pleasure to introduce our salutatorian for the 2024 senior class, Ann Wynn. And then her sister, the valedictorian for the 2024 senior class, Lynn Wynn. once again, we're very proud of these young ladies. They put a lot of hard work in, and it paid off for them, and we're excited to see where they're going to go. We know they're going to represent LaPorte High School well wherever they go to school, to continue their education and in whatever career they choose. So congratulations, ladies.
Now we move on to some staff recognitions, our Principals of the Year. Let's start out with the Elementary Principal of the Year, Miss Karen Lawley. I'm just going to read a little bit of her bio here. She's been the principal at LaPorte Elementary since 2022, before which she was an assistant principal there for 4 years. Prior to that role, she supported students in LaPorte ISD as a special education teacher at LaPorte Elementary and as a general education teacher at Bayshore Elementary. Karen Lawley, the 2024 Elementary Principal of the Year. Secondary Principal of the Year for 2024, Mr. Lucio Rodriguez, James H. Baker 6th grade campus. Mr. Rodriguez also became the principal of James H. Baker 6th grade campus in 2022. He previously worked in Houston ISD as the assistant principal of Navarro Middle School. Before this role, he was principal, assistant principal, curriculum writer, science department, and all kinds of other things. Congratulations, Lucio Rodriguez. And now it's time for some community and business partner recognitions. And with that, I pass the microphone to Ms. Terry Cook, our coordinator of Partners in Education.
Good evening. We have several recognitions tonight, and we're going to start with Jersey Mike's from LaPorte. Jersey Mike's in LaPorte supports LaPorte ISD and its schools in many different ways. Most recently, Jersey Mike's provided 1,000 coupons for free items for students completing the LaPorte ISD Reading Challenge, and during Teacher Appreciation Week, delivered lunch to teachers and staff at our Disciplinary Alternative Education program. In addition, Jersey Mike's is a regular supporter of the LaPorte Education Foundation with sponsorship of the Hoops Classic, Breakfast with the Stars, and the Foundation's annual golf tournament. We are very appreciative of the Jersey Mike's team's involvement in our schools and our district. And tonight we have with us Sarah Valadez and David Mora, representing Jersey Mike's LaPorte. Thank you. Victor and Brandy Paris, owners of Main Street Food Truck Park and Entertainment Center and LaPorte Chiropractic Associates, are partners in education with LaPorte Elementary School, where they have adopted the entire 3rd grade. While Dr. and Mrs. Paris and their staff support the 3rd grade teachers in a wide variety of ways, they are also actively involved in helping the entire campus. In the fall, they sponsored an ice cream day for all students, and they're currently planning a pizza lunch for the staff and another ice cream day this spring. They also sponsored several LaPorte Elementary families for the holidays. The LaPorte Elementary administrative team knows that when they have a need, from something as simple as putting together packets to more urgent needs such as warm clothes or shoes for students, Dr. and Mrs. Paris are always willing to help. Brandy and Victor Paris, would you please come forward? Thank you so much. They have also gotten their businesses that are in the food truck park to be involved in our schools as well, which is really great. A former educator and LaPorte ISD Board of Trustees member, Pat Studdert, CEO of Buffalo Marine, has been a huge supporter of education in our district. In addition to serving on the board, Mr. Studdert has made a meaningful difference in the lives of educators who have earned recognition as the district's Elementary and Secondary Teachers of the Year. For 28 years at the District Service Awards banquet, Mr. Studdert surprised the District Teachers of the Year with significant monetary awards for their own use, which allowed many recipients to continue their education or take a much-deserved vacation. His service to our district was recognized as he was named a Distinguished Alumnus in 2020. We are very grateful to Mr. Studdert for the legacy he has created in establishing this tradition that means so much to our honored teachers. Pat Studdert, would you please come? Thank you so much.
Hey, boss. Doing all right? Good. Good to see y'all. I don't know how you want to do this. I did 14 weeks.
I was going to ask if you wanted to cheer.
Oh, no. Listen, if I can just take a minute, boss. Listen, folks, I just want to tell you that the rubber meets the road with these teachers. When I got here, we had Miss Resky in 1994. Taught my son Tim at Fraser Elementary, the oldest school over there at Shore Acres. And she got a gift card for $25. And that was okay, and I sat there and I go, teacher of the year. Come on now. And so anyway, we got together and we started delivering anywhere from $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 per teacher. I know that we pumped in over $400,000 worth of money over 28 years. It has really been fun. And I think the most important thing you need to remember is that this is where the rubber meets the road. You know, the teachers, some kids don't have anybody but them. And so that's why they look pretty impressive what you do. And I know that our Rotary Club boss has decided to take up the ball where I left off. And so you need to support those folks. And they raise that money, and you know, that's what teachers need. I mean, you know, everybody doesn't want that. You know, they earn it. That's for sure. Most underpaid bunch in the nation. But anyway, I just want to thank you for your time. Boy, this looks great. The boardroom I was in was over there, the old Red Brook building. Couldn't run away from you guys. Anyway, it was all fun. Congratulations, boss. Thank you for running such a great district. And man, this report something, I'm telling you. It really looks good. I walk around here and shoot, I would have to go back to coaching again, coach, because I didn't have any gas to turf and all that stuff. I ran away from them, terrible boy. But anyway, thanks again. It's a pleasure being here, and you guys just keep it going. Thanks for carrying on. That's what matters. Is what we're going to do tomorrow, right? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
We will now move to item 6, public comment. The board will now hear those who wish to make comment and who have completed and returned the public comment participation request. This section will be conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act and board policy. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. Ms. Thompson, do we have any registered speakers?
We do. Tonight we have Sherry Dietrich from 1105 Ridge Park, who would like to speak to the board.
Give me just a second.
It's okay.
Dietrich. I'm a proud wife and soulmate to Chief Douglas Dietrich. God's led me here tonight because I need to thank the school district, especially you, Dr. Jackson, for your kindness, for opening your doors to honor my husband at the Bulldog Center. There is no other place, not even our church, that he would have wanted me to hold his service. My husband bled orange through and through, and anybody that knows him knows his love for this city and for this school district. All of our children attended LaPorte Independent School District. I can tell you some of his happier days in his position, even above being a police officer, were his days serving on the school board, the Education Foundation, and one of his happiest days of the year was a Hoops Classic. Back when I was the chief of police for Morgan's Point, me and him would work together the game, and he just loved it. He just loved the school district. When he took over as chief of police, and we sat down and we talked about some of his goals. One of his main goals, besides bringing God back into the police department, into the officers' hearts that didn't know the Lord, was reuniting with the school and with the children. We recognize both being police officers, that our children are our future. And he wanted to bring that bond back. He wanted the officers in the schools walking around. If they weren't busy on the streets, he would tell them, go walk around the schools, go up and down the hall, go see the teachers, shake the kids' hands. Let them know you're there. Let them know this is a safe place for them to be. So on behalf of me and my family, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for the years of letting him serve on the Education Foundation. Melissa, he just adored you. You know that. Jeff, all the years. Thank you for being a friend to him, for opening up the school district to him. God bless each one of you. And on behalf of our family, we wish nothing but God's blessing over the school district for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will move on to administrative reports, but we're going to take a second. But whenever you're ready, Dr. Jackson.
Mr. President and board members, you have my board report. I'll ask for permission to not read that tonight, and we bring up the next speaker tonight.
Yes. So we will move on to item 7B, the strategic planning overview.
Ms. Terry Moore is coming up to the dais, and she's going to give the board an update and just share some information. And feel free to ask her any questions that you might have at this time.
Give me just a second. I do have a presentation for you guys. I still remember how to do it. Well, good evening, President Hanks, Dr. Jackson, board members. Thank you so much for having me out tonight to kind of officially kick off strategic planning for LaPorte ISD.
I know you guys are probably wondering, who in the world is this woman who's going to be facilitating for us? So I just wanted to introduce myself to you a little bit, give you a little bit of my background and my experience, and what I'm going to be bringing to the board for you guys as a district. Again, my name is Terry Moore. I have 33 years of education experience. All that, and if you divide it evenly amongst all the roles, and I think you said it earlier for one of your people, a little bit of everything. I worked as a teacher for 10 plus years, a campus administrator. Probably the hardest job I ever did was that as a campus principal for 10 years, and then finished my career as a district administrator, serving both as an executive director and an associate superintendent for 10 plus years. Throughout that course, I also served as an educational coach for surrounding school districts as well as our school district. And then now, upon my retirement this past school year, I serve as the educational coach full-time. Some of my areas of experience that I think are relevant to what we'll be doing here is I have extensive work in leadership development, worked with campus administrators, aspiring administrators, worked with board of trustees numerous times, leadership groups, community leadership committees. And so through that work there, learning how and working with taking the ideas and thoughts and opinions of multiple groups coming from many different perspectives and finding the common ground in the middle, finding the patterns and the ideas that we all share together and bringing them all together in the board from a very objective standpoint. I have lots of experience in program initiative implementation. Taking an idea, wanting to do something, learning how to, and working with groups through the planning, the support, and then most importantly, the oversight of those programs and initiatives after they were input. So lots of experience there, and then also experience with strategic planning. This was one of my roles in my school district for many years, was completing the strategic planning, both large and small annual planning each year. So I've been through this process many times and feel very adept at being able to lead you through this as a school district. And as we go through the strategic planning process, you'll see there'll be numerous parts to this. The most important will be validating the LaPorte ISD mission and vision that you guys already have in place. And then we'll talk through just a moment about some of these other things we'll be working on throughout the course of this, the remainder of this semester. But I do want to point out, and I know there's lots of people sitting behind me that will attest to this, just watching the opening of your board meeting with the recognitions and the performances, and just a brief tour of your Facebook, your social media, and your webpage, there's lots of great things going on in this school district. You have tons of traditional things in place that are so good and great about LaPorte ISD. Just looking at what you've got, the first awards, the schools on the U.S. News and World Report being named that you're up for the HEB award, that this strategic planning initiative that we're starting is by no means an indication that anything is going wrong or this district is not going in the right direction. Strategic planning is just an exercise that great school districts do to make sure, are we still on track with the needs, the values, and the expectations of our community? Just like your words, Mr. Hanks, in your statement online. Are we truly still representing what our community wants? That's what the strategic planning process is about, not any indication in any way that anything needs to be fixed or is going wrong. But the first thing we want to do is just diving into what you guys already have, your mission, your vision, your statements. You have LaPorte ISD beliefs, you have LaPorte ISD commitments, core competencies. There's tons of documents, there's tons of planning already out there. And so what we want to do is start with validating those. How long have those been in place, and do they still reflect who we are as a school district, and do they still represent the direction we want to go as a school district? So I think that is the first most critical piece of strategic planning is recognizing where are we right now and is this where we want to be. And then we'll work to gather relevant data and some stakeholder input. I believe this is the most important piece. Again, if we truly want to reflect what our employees say, what our community says, we have to ask them. And sometimes they give us very hard answers, and you need to be ready to hear those. But we want to have constituent stakeholder focus groups, invite them in, those who do want to come in person, providing them a platform where they can come in person and share, interviewing key partners and leaders. You as board trustees, having an interview and being asked one-on-one or two-on-one, your personal thoughts and where you believe the district needs to go, where the district needs to focus, what direction does the district need to go in, and then having stakeholder surveys. Your campus administrators, your teachers, your employees, your parents. Where are their values? What are their expectations for the school district? What do they want to see you do? And then from there, we put all the data together and then we start the hard part. This is where we review the data and we have to find those common grounds. What sometimes the direction they want us to go in may not be the direction we envision. And how do we bring those two thoughts together? Identifying the critical focus areas that you as board members say it is your role to say, this is the mission, this is the direction we want to go in, and identifying those and making sure they're aligned with what your community wants. And then you start looking at targeting areas. Are there areas for improvement or growth? Are there areas that we want to initiate new programs or new ideas or new direction? So that's the hard work. But that's after you know what your community and your employees have to say. And then of course setting the goals or keeping the goals that you already have in place that support what your community values are. And then of course writing the plan, working with your district. And when we say writing the plan, we're writing the template of the plan, the framework of the plan, and identifying what those goals are going to be moving forward and the feasibility, and are there outcomes that we can watch for those plans. And then ultimately we'll end with review, validating, and you guys approving the plan, checking for clear outcomes. Can progress be shown in these areas? And developing a strategy for your oversight. As a board, one of your main roles is to oversight. And so we want to make sure that there's a clear plan and a clear strategy for you to do that. And then of course approval of the plan moving forward. This is an abbreviated timeline depending on how in-depth you guys as a board want to go. But you can see working through, by the end of this semester, we should have a clear framework and a clear outline for the direction the district is going to go in its planning. This will not be a complete strategic planning. We want more thoughtful planning for that, particularly if there's going to be new initiatives implemented. So what this is just sending the direction of the district to then move forward and do the complete planning of the hows and the timelines and the things like that. But for you as a board of trustees would have established the direction we want to see the district going over the next 3, 4, 5, even up to 10 years, depending on what you guys want to see in the plan. Okay? All right. So I'm going to open it for questions. But if you have any questions, please know I'll be in and out of the district. I'll open it for questions now, or I can answer questions when we do individual interviews as well.
Word? Just a quick question on, I'm glad we're doing this for a long time. I have to say this, like you look at the timeline, that's at the heart of testing season. So do we have reassurances that it's not going to take away from the abundance of work and all the things that the principals and administrators and teachers have to do during testing season? Is that going to interfere?
And I can absolutely address that. As a former administrator, I'm going to say that would be the number one thing we're trying to protect is the time while the teachers and the campus input is some of your most valuable. You certainly don't want it to take away from the work they do every day, because I heard it said earlier, that's where the rubber meets the road. And so yes, remember, this will be mostly your work as a board and district leaders in determining the overarching goals in the critical areas. Some of the in-depth planning will occur after the semester is over.
I have a quick question.
Yes,
What
sir.
other school districts have you done this for?
I've worked ultimately this was my role in Galena Park ISD. I've worked with Humble ISD, Huffman ISD, and Brazosport.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy, Nancy, all good? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank
you, ma'am.
you.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you, and I look forward to working with you all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Board, we're going to go to D, an update on CCMR and CTE. There's Common 8.
Good evening, President Hanks, members of the board, and Dr. Jackson. We are here today. Ms. Marissa Lopez is our coordinator of CTE, and we would like to provide you an update on our CTE program and give you some data of some improvements that were made in the past few years.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, President Hanks, Dr. Jackson, and Board of Trustees. It is a pleasure to be here and just give you an update on some of the work we've done in CTE over the last year and a half. So buckle your seatbelts because we got a lot to cover. And I will say, this certainly has been a collaborative effort between myself, various departments in this building, campus administrators, counselors, parents, students, and industry partners, and most importantly, our teachers. So I'm super grateful for the support within our district and the community for CTE. We have focused on rebranding CTE. So here you will see a graphic that our communications department created that encompasses icons for all of the career clusters that we offer programs in. And then in the middle, you will see part of our CTE logo. So we have had a huge emphasis on just enhancing the image of CTE within LaPorte ISD. Last year, there was a lot of effort in conducting a comprehensive review of every single one of our CTE programs of study. And in doing so, we wanted to keep in mind accountability transition changes that were coming down the pipeline with respect to CTE and how that impacts CCMR. So I'm going to sit here for just a little bit. In the past, in order for a student to be considered career ready, they just had to earn an IBC. That is changing. Beginning with our class of 2026, not only do students have to earn an IBC, they also have to be a completer in an aligned program of study. So there's two parts for them to be considered career ready. It is going to be much more challenging for students to do so, but we put some pieces in place to help facilitate that. And so completer means that a student has taken 3 or more classes in one program of study for 4 or more credits, and one of those is an advanced program of study. So retaining students in our CTE programs is crucial. Moving forward, we have also ensured alignment with our program and course offerings and also our course sequences to accommodate the most recent program of study refresh conducted at the state level, and that is something that the state does every 4 years to ensure that programs are in line with labor market data and also the Texas workforce needs. So knowing that it's crucial for our students to stay in a CTE program, but also knowing that we want to provide them with some flexibility to explore different programs, we have structured our course sequences to allow for multiple entry and exit points. So what I mean by that is, let's say we have a student who beginning their sophomore year, they decide, I want to take another CTE program. They can do that and still have the opportunity to be a completer. On the flip side, if we have a student who has been in the same CTE program their 9th through 11th grade year, and at the end of that 11th grade year, they have done all the things to be a completer. Well, they don't necessarily have to exit the program. If they want to take that 4th class because they really enjoyed culinary arts, they can do that.
So we heard from parents that when in 8th grade we start giving them they make a decision on what pathway they go into. By the time they get to 9th and 10th grade, they may change their mind. So what we wanted to do is to ensure that these students have opportunity to explore other areas and other pathways while they're in high school, so they may be interested in something else. So this gives them opportunity to do that.
So of course, we are ensuring that we are offering aligned industry-based certifications in every single one of our programs of study. We also have ensured equity among our programs of study so that if a student is taking welding or business or teaching and training, they have these same, what we call wraparound services available to them. So that was very important to us. We have created one-pagers for all of our programs of study. I believe you all have copies with you, but for every program of study that we offer, it details the course sequence, so what classes students take 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade year, and those wraparound services, so the IBCs, the work-based learning opportunities, etc. So we created those. Those are available on our new CTE webpage, so that if anyone is ever interested in learning about the program offerings in LaPorte ISD CTE, that information is readily available to them online.
And once again, that's due to parents' response of getting confused about what all these pathways and what the courses are. These one-pagers help parents and students to understand, here's what you take, here's the certification you can get, so that they can understand the alignment of what it looks like.
This right here, can we just take a pause? Because in 14 years, we've never had anything like this, 13, 14, I don't know, I'm telling my age. We've never had anything like this, and I can't imagine as a parent how helpful these things are, especially with all the confusion on IBCs and...
Absolutely, and those are also in our
wages and, I mean, just all
our
the work
educational
that
planning guide. Yes, ma'am.
That's incredible.
So here is a visual. I know we've thrown out a few CTE-specific terms, career cluster, programs of study, IBCs, et cetera, et cetera. So here is a visual for how all of those pieces play together in terms of the CTE program hierarchy. So we start with a career cluster. I like to think of that as an umbrella. So for example, ag, food, and natural resources is a career cluster. Under those career clusters are our programs of study. So animal science, for example, is the program that falls under ag, food, and natural resources. Within those programs, we then have our 9th through 12th course sequences. So for example, veterinary medical applications is our senior level course in animal science. And then of course our IBCs are in those specific courses. So for our vet med applications course, the IBC, one of the IBCs we offer in that class is Elanco Vet Med Application Certification. So again, we just wanted to give you a visual of how all those pieces fit into the bigger puzzle. We did implement a few new programs at the high school this school year. One of them is programming and software development. So in the past, that's computer science. So in the past, we did offer a couple of AP computer science courses. So we wanted to go ahead and take the opportunity to build out that program. So as of this year, we do have a complete course sequence for programming and software development. Absolutely. And in addition, we are now offering commercial photography, and we have integrated yearbook into that. Yearbook is not new, but we went ahead and built out a program of study to encompass yearbook. I hope you all have heard of our Grow Your Own program, but we have started a teaching and training program, and the goal of that program, as you know, is to grow our own educators here in LaPorte ISD, so that is new to us this year. Next year, we are super excited to offer a new STEM CTE elective at the junior highs, and it was going to be open to our 7th and 8th grade students, and that is through Project Lead the Way. So what that will look like is students who elect to take that class, they will take robotics one semester, and the second semester they will take computer science. And so really the goal for that is to bridge the gap that we have with STEM right now between elementary and high school. And we have been afforded this opportunity through grants totaling $40,000 from Project Lead the Way. So that will help fund teacher training, supplies, curriculum, and everything needed to get that program running. So we're super excited about that. We will begin offering that this coming school year at both junior highs.
Excited about it.
Yes.
So we wanted to share some data with you with respect to our IBC progress. So you will see here, beginning with the 2022 accountability year, which connects to our 2021 graduates. So anytime we're talking CCMR, it's a lagging indicator. But from 2022 to 2023 accountability year, we did have a 14.3% increase in IBCs. And then from 2023 to 2024 accountability year, we are projecting a 27.8% increase in IBC earnings.
Wow.
What is IBC, man?
I'm sorry?
What is IBC? What is that?
Industry-based certification. So that essentially demonstrates mastery in a skill set specific to a career.
Good job. Yeah, congratulations.
Our teachers have been working extremely hard, for sure. They are the core of all of this, really. So as you know, IBCs are just one of the many indicators that fall under CCMR, but you will see here how the progress in IBCs has impacted our overall CCMR growth the last 3 years. So beginning, thank you for pausing me and asking that. So CCMR is college, career, and military readiness.
This is 40% of our high school accountability domain one. So the percentage of this.
Can you give that dummies version of why, like, a graduating senior is not, like, automatically classified as a college, career, military readiness?
Right.
I guess that's what I still can't understand, like, how is it,
That'd be a question to ask the teacher.
how is that so different? Like, I mean, because the percentage is much lower than, like, the graduation rate.
Right.
I mean, like, if you graduate, you should be ready to go to college, right?
Good question. So career readiness, there are different indicators. So when you're career ready, you have different options. For instance, you have to meet a certain SAT score. That can give you that point. That could be 1 point. You could take the ACT and get a certain percentage on the ACT score. That could be another point. When you're taking AP courses, dual credit courses, they also count also. So any point that leads to a student who is college, career, or military ready. So students now, this upcoming year, if they join the military, we'll have a way to track them again. So that's the military side. The IBCs would be the career ready. So those certifications that these students are getting from their pathways will count as career ready. So there's some students who can earn up to 3 or 4 or 5 points. What we want is at least every student to have 1 point in certain criteria. And the other criteria would be the IBC. So for accountability purposes, when the state is looking at graduation rate, that's separate. But the other piece is career ready, college ready, CCMR, and that would be the 40% of domain 1 of the high school data. And so it's very important that we have the CCMR side on there too.
And that's certainly a very good technical term and definition of all of that. But the other part of what I think Mr. Martin is asking is, and my response to that is, there are no two students that start at the same place at the same time, whether it's first grade or fifth grade or eighth grade or the 12th grade. And so kids mature and learn and comprehend and, and really grasp the content at different stages and levels in their life. And so even toward the end of their high school career, some of them are still doing that. And so, which is basically what you said in a
So
nutshell.
that's why they have three different pathways.
I have a question. Since we're on the CCMR aspect, it's not really IBC related, but kind of looking at the percentages and all that. And this may be a Dr. Grammer question, but if I remember correctly, you mentioned kind of what checks off, okay? And I know we talked about this in, I don't know how many years ago, about the Texas College Bridge. If they complete that on the reading and math, does that give them a check, give them a check on that?
Yes, that counts too. That would
Okay.
count as also.
Are we ensuring, as we're looking at who gets the checks, who's not getting the checks?
Right.
Are we getting these students into one of those to get them that we're 100% CCMR?
Yes, so if you see the increase from this past year, that is exactly what we're doing. So our data accountability is looking at every single student on the senior list. So we start with the seniors and see that where they're getting their point. How are they getting their point? So we look at every single student.
And I can elaborate on that just a little bit if I can. So one of the things that we started doing last year, and I know this is veering off of CTE, but we have began administering the TSIA2 in-house. In the past, we were not doing that here at LaPorte High School. So as of last year, we started testing most of our 11th grade students. So we just did that last week. So then now we have the data. As a junior, are you college ready through your TSIA2 scores? If not, then we know where we can place you next year as a senior, right, to help facilitate this college readiness.
Good.
Don't tell anything. No. But from an outsider's perspective, it seemed like we were, for lack of a better word, like behind other districts like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And this is phenomenal growth. I mean, how do you feel that we are tracking now compared to our counterparts? I know we get compared, for better or worse, for Deer Park, Clear Creek, Goose Creek. Y'all made monumental steps in the right direction.
I can speak to say that we were behind, but with what we're seeing now, we are not behind. And
Good.
we are above other districts.
Wow.
So it is amazing what we have right now in terms of that number. So at this point right now, I say we are above the 90% group of schools or districts with this percentage. Because it is very hard to get to track every student, ensure they have this point that they need in terms of CCM.
Not only the point, I didn't mean to cut you off, but not only that, what these two ladies are explaining to you, Board, is the work of not just what they're doing, but what they're doing with the entire secondary folks
Right.
in making that happen. Part of this whole CCMR and accountability process is not just making sure kids learn the content and pass tests. It's fully understanding what it is that the TEA is asking of us. And so we have people in place that are really helping us to really dig deep and understand the system, because we were working and our kids were passing the tests, but we still weren't touching the pieces in some ways that we needed to be touching. And that's of no fault of anybody, because they change these things so often. It's really having people to kind of have a laser focus on it constantly.
I apologize if you answered this while I was wrangling a feral 7-year-old over the phone. But we did have a conversation several months back about the some of the pathways maybe going away or being not included. So everything that we have in place currently, everything that we have is still on track. They're still allowing those to get the certifications, to get the credit for them to count. Have we had to remove any?
We have, yes. So that's a great question. So as part of our comprehensive review of our programs, of course, we're looking at enrollment. So construction management is one program that we did phase out. And there's just a huge, we just have lots of demand for welding. We also are phasing out human services. Mrs. Wordler, who is the teacher who facilitates our Grow Your Own program, she also teaches human services. We don't have that many students in human services, so we had that conversation, and we are eliminating that program to focus our efforts on Grow Your Own. So we have eliminated, not a lot, but just a couple of programs.
Thank you.
Nonetheless, for the 2023 and 2024, again, accountability year, we're projecting a 16.8% increase in CCMR.
Congratulations.
So in CTE, the last year and a half, we've had just a huge focus on also promoting our programs and raising awareness amongst stakeholders of what programs we offer within CTE and those wraparound services that I keep referencing to. So on the top left, this was Connect Fair. This was an opportunity in partnership with LaPorte High School, but our families were able to visit the CTE building, get into our shops, our kitchens, and speak with our teachers and see our learning spaces. On the right, that was Explore CTE Week. So our high school teachers and CTE student ambassadors, they visited both junior highs and spoke to every single one of the 8th grade students to speak to their respective programs. And really the goal for the Connect Fair and Explore CTE Week was to help our students make informed decisions as they're selecting their courses. So it was a great opportunity for our high school students because they were speaking to the programs more than our teachers were. So it was just a great opportunity for them to grow in their skill set and build that leadership capacity.
One of the priorities for that is we want to start young. So we're starting with our junior highs to ensure that then when they get to the high school, they are well versed in looking at all the pathways and all that we have to offer.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, you're involved in the project, the launch as well. So even on an elementary level, we're getting some of those students exposed to
Absolutely.
a variety of different things through that program.
And I referenced the CTE webpage. We did create that, and so all of those one-pagers, that's available online as well. If you go to this district webpage, academics, you can find CTE.
And that is new. So the new webpage for CTE is all new. So when you get a chance, please look and explore the website.
Some other initiatives we have implemented to just raise awareness about CTE program offerings. We hosted an IBC 101 session, virtual session, maybe the last couple of weeks, but that was an opportunity for us to inform families what is an IBC, what IBCs do we offer, how are we preparing students, what can you do to help us prepare students. So we offered that. We also partnered with the San Jac Maritime campus to host a virtual informational session. As you know, Maritime is our one technical dual credit program as of right now, and so we're continuing to just try to promote growth in that program. So we did host a session before, and I don't think we've ever done that before, so we're just trying to raise that awareness. If you use Twitter or X, you can find us at LPISD I'd encourage you to check that out. We try to keep that up to date with program happenings as well. That's something we created last year. Industry partnerships, critical, right, to the success of a CTE program for a couple of reasons. One, we want to make sure that what we are doing in the classroom is preparing students to meet the needs of the workforce. Two, we want to connect our learning to the real world. So what you see on this screen, these are learning experiences that are available to our students through industry partnerships. And I will say, a lot of these were able to be facilitated through the work of our teachers and really taking ownership of their programs and going out and developing some of these partnerships. So you'll see some of our practicum and culinary art students, they do routine visits to various restaurants in the community, Maine 101, Gringos, Ed's Bistro, and they're providing support in those facilities and helping in the kitchen. On the top right, you see one of our Grow Your Own students. So advanced students in our teaching and training program, they are going to LaPorte Elementary every week, and they're providing support in classrooms. This student you see in the top right picture, she has already created and delivered her own lesson last semester.
Just a little bit, if I may, obviously, with the partnership at one of the restaurants, Ms. Grantham, I can tell that she shows up with the students. She sits there, she does her curriculum, and they go through a facilitated orientation and work position. It's impressive. Very nice.
Absolutely. And then on the bottom left, our students in animal science, they are visiting the animal shelter in LaPorte on a routine basis and providing support in various capacities. So these are opportunities to really just have students see and smell and experience what these careers are like firsthand. We also partnered with Brascom for our students to get out to their plant, and they toured that, so that was a great opportunity. Sometimes we can't always get our students to industry, so we always welcome industry partners to get into our classrooms to speak to their careers. So we did have some engineering employees. They're actually co-op students at Lyondell-Basell, but they came and spoke to our engineering students regarding their experience as a college student and the work that they're doing at Lyondell-Basell. And then lastly, we did host Career Tech Connect with industry partners and also with counselors. Again, counselors, we cannot do the work without counselors, but really to facilitate those relationships with them and to discuss how we can work together to best support our students in CTE. Lastly, I wanted to give you an idea of what's to come in CTE. So our families have informed us that they are interested in additional dual credit opportunities within our district, and we know that that's an opportunity of growth in CTE. So we are currently exploring technical dual credit opportunities with the San Jacinto College Central Campus, specifically their CPET building. So we're researching some dual credit programs that would be in line with the refining and chemical processes programs, so instrumentation, process technology. We're looking at that, and the goal would be to implement at least one of those programs at 25-26 school year. So we're researching, trying to put the pieces in place for that. Also, career exploration for K through 6th grade is huge. It's a huge opportunity for us, so we'll continue trying to grow in that area. One of the things we're going to do on May the 2nd is thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, for allowing us to host Career on Wheels, but the goal for that day will be for us to have about 7 vehicles that represent various industries. They will be out in the parking lot at Baker 6th grade campus, and our students will come out in rotations and visit with every one of the vehicles. We also want to continue celebrating career readiness. It's a huge accomplishment. When students are passing these IBC exams, they're very difficult, very challenging, rigorous exams. So we want to celebrate them, and then also we want to continue to increase engagement in competitive events. So that's our students going out to competitions like the ones you see on this screen. We have our TAFE members who are at state competition last week, and of course we have our FFA member who recently qualified for nationals as well. So we want to increase those opportunities.
Only her from LaPorte and one student from Porte ISD with only 2 students.
Wow.
Thank you for your time. Do y'all have any additional questions for me?
Just a comment. You can't speak with the confidence that you have if you don't know this stuff and believe in this stuff. And anything, I'd buy anything you're selling.
Thank you for that.
Kudos to you, and I know it's no small undertaking, but I know that, as the, academic climate changes here and there, that there's a growing need for CTE, and I think we have a huge opportunity with Porte ISD, and definitely glad you're heading it up, so.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. I'm a product of CTE. I believe in it. I know what it's done for me, and I would not be here without CTE, so I believe in it, and so I just want to provide that same opportunity for our students and support our teachers in the process.
Well done. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, I have two things, sorry. One, to Danny's point, you've deflected a lot of the credit onto other people, so you do a great job, and we do appreciate you, so don't deflect that credit. But one thing that I think we should look at, LaPorte has a unique ability for a CTE program. The airline industry is in desperate need of pilots, and that industry is, people don't want to put in the work or the effort to do it, so, you know, airlines are paying astronomical salaries to do it. Cleveland ISD just started a aviation CTE program. The city of LaPorte has an airport and has, I think, 3 different instructional places there. And I know that there is a CTE program guide for aviation.
Yes.
I think it may be worth looking into. I mean, it's a big step. I mean, that putting kids in airplanes, but
Are you offering to teach them?
I will teach them, you know, but I think it would be a worthy endeavor, especially with, you know, there's a need, let's have the demand to get it. So if we could look into that, I think it'd be a good idea.
Absolutely.
This is really random that you said that, is with the chamber. Again, I commend also that y'all did a phenomenal job, because I could be competitive, whatever, it killed me for so long. I think we were behind others, and I'm so excited to hear that we are above and beyond right now. But I know that y'all can need help going forward, and so the Chamber of Commerce, we get people come in all the time. I had a board member who was a plant president come in today and say he'd love to get more active in schools. I had lunch with a hospital representative last week who wants to get more involved in nutritional science and things in the schools. And so about 2 months ago, we had a lady that came in. She works for a facility, like a school next to Hobby Airport. It's an aviation academy.
This wasn't planned, by the way.
District. So I'd love to sit down and talk to y'all
Absolutely.
about all these chamber members and people that want to get pour back, and so we can help connect them to you guys.
Absolutely.
We're here to help any way we can.
We will be willing to explore anything. I mean, we just, if our kids want to try it, you know, we got kids that have a demand for it, we're looking at it.
They don't know what they don't know, right?
That's
So
right.
we want to provide those opportunities for them.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Ladies,
so
great
much.
job, Dr. Brown. So we will move on to C, our intruder detection audit report. Dr. Bromley.
I can follow all that greatness up.
Don't be boring.
Intruder audit. You guys should have this form that you got in the closed session, so you can kind of follow along. I didn't do it in PowerPoint. Good evening, President Hanks, Board of Trustees, Dr. Jackson. I'm here tonight to provide a report on recent findings related to a safety audit performed by TEA. If you remember, in 2022, Governor Abbott charged the Texas School Safety Center in coordination with TEA to conduct in-person, unannounced, random intruder detection audits on school districts. And this was a direct result of Uvalde. We had this happen. It started last year for us. We had several campuses that had audits. This year, currently, we have about 54% of our campuses that have been audited to this point, really. We've had an audit every month except for November. I don't have to get in front of you unless we have a finding, so that's why I'm here today. The audit is performed in 3 phases. The first phase, the auditor tries to gain entry into the facility. So they show up at a campus, they get out of their car, they try to get into an unlocked gate, they try to open doors. Either A, they gain entry, or B, they get identified by a staff member, an SRO that may be walking. If they can't gain entry or they don't get identified, they come and check themselves into the front office. But you pass that phase. We had 7 audits thus far this year. All of our campuses have passed phase 1. We've not had any entry points. We have not had any auditor, actually through any audit last year and this year, that was able to gain entry into any of our facilities. Phase 2 is exterior door checking. So once the auditor comes into the facility, they check in, they meet the campus administrator, and they actually walk the facility with the administrator, and they go and check every door for prop doors, for doors that may not be may be malfunctioning, or doors that are just simply unlocked. Unfortunately, we do have a finding. One of our 7 campuses have a finding in phase 2, and I'll talk a little bit about what we've done thus far pertaining to that. Phase 3 is documentation of our weekly door sweeps. So we actually do daily door sweeps in our district, and what the auditor asks for is, can you show proof that you're doing it and keeping documentation on that? So all 7 of our campuses were able to do that. There were no findings there. So with the result of phase 2 with the exterior door check finding, there's some action items that we have to do. Obviously, me being in front of you talking about them is one of them. We have to retrain that campus staff, go over safety expectations, and put an action plan in place. All that was taking place on February 7th. We had to conduct a district safety and security committee meeting, go over that action plan and go through those findings. And with the committee, as much as yourself, an executive session, we speak more in depth on the location. We can't give that in public, right? But that was February 26th, and then tonight, obviously, you heard it in executive session and here in public. Any questions on intruder audit findings?
Is there a protocol if it's like I think this has happened, but if a campus is cited once and they go back and cite it again, is there any kind of
So you have
policy?
to, if you meet a percentage of failure, then you have to work with TA and you have to bring in outside training. We've not done that. We've not had any of these, obviously. But you have to go back and look at it. I mean, obviously, you put things in place. We're doing some different things with our staff at that specific campus to try to enhance those components.
This state's findings, what counts for failure? Is a finding a failure?
Finding is a failure,
Okay.
technically.
I was just making
So if
sure
you
I
don't have
had all the
findings,
phases.
you pass it essentially.
Okay.
Any finding means they found a door unpropped, or you didn't have documentation of your sweeps, or they gained entry. So having no findings is good. Any questions?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move to item 8, our consent agenda. A, determine and approve any consent agenda items. B, approve board meeting minutes. 1, regular board meeting minutes, February 13th, 2024. 2, called workshop meeting minutes, February 20th, 2024. C, receive principals reports. 1, Early Childhood Center. 2, Bayshore Elementary. 3, College Park Elementary. 4, Heritage Elementary. 5, Jenny Reed Elementary. 6, LaPorte Elementary. 7, Rizzuto Elementary. 8, Lomax Elementary. 9, Baker 6th grade campus. 10, LaPorte Junior High. 11, Lomax Junior High. 12, LaPorte High School. 13, Viola D. Waltz High School. 10, receive financial reports for January 2024. E, receive human resources report. F, adopt a resolution number 2024-03 for schools and library universal services. E-rate for 2024-2025. G, adopt a resolution number 2024-04 to compensate employees for missed workday due to winter storm weather. H, adopt a resolution number 2024-05 appointing May 4th, 2024 election officials. I, approve budget amendment for March 2024. J, approve change order for purchase of school bus maintenance and repair services for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year.
I'd like to pull that, please.
Okay. K, approve employment of professional staff. L, approve purchase of E-rate internet access services, E-rate wireless access points, and E-rate firewall services for fiscal year 2024 to 2025. M, approve term and non-certified contract recommendations for certified teachers, administrators, and professional on pay grades 1 through 7. All right. Ms. Thompson, can you read back the consent agenda?
I sure can. It's item 8, B, 1 and 2, C, 1 through 13, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, and M.
Thank you. I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Paris. I call for a vote. Let the record show it's unanimous. Thank you. We'll now hear discussion on item J. Ms. Thompson?
Yes, I just wanted to understand, what did we underestimate? And I was under the impression that we used mostly maintenance, like in-house maintenance for these things.
We have mechanics. The
Right.
problem is, we have several buses that have diagnostic issues that our guys just don't have the tools. We're working to get those tools for them, but they don't. So we have to send these to Thomas Bus. And what that does, when we close out our budgets, we put enough money in it so we don't have to come back and call meetings to get in front of you. So it's really an annual deal that we typically do. We did it this time last year as well.
We did, okay.
So in essence, they fix what they can fix.
Yes, and they do a great job. And we're working towards, and a part of what you'll hear next month is some of that through our consultant, to get them some of those tools and
And
things that they need.
I mean, are we confident that 200,000 is enough for the
Yeah, we
diagnostic
shouldn't
issues
even
we're
go
having?
that, we shouldn't even meet that mark, so it's a do not exceed, yeah, we're confident.
Okay, that's all I had.
Board, any other questions? Okay. I seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Crutcher, a call for a vote. It is unanimous. Thank you. All right, we will now move to item 9, action on closed session items. We do not have any items. So we'll go to section 10, closing comments of the Board of Trustees and Superintendent. A, attendance at recent district events and community events. B, announcement of upcoming district and community events. C, outstanding performance by district staff and students. Mr. Mason, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing.
Really?
Nope.
Melissa?
I just want to brag on Rizzuto's Willy Wonka performance. That's, again, the future of our theater there, so very excited to see that. We've got baseball season in swing, we've got softball season in swing, lots of students with track, lots of students out there participating in lots of different competitions this season, so just if you can get out and support them, please do. And go Bulldogs.
Here, here. Jeff?
You got a list. I'll go fast. So I needed some credit hours, so I went to the governance conference last week, and I wasn't overly excited about it. But when I was there, it was amazing because it was led by students, and to hear the phenomenal things that these kids across the state are doing was inspiring, to say the least. I also want to thank Mr. Burke. Like, our orchestra came and presented on Friday night, and they did a phenomenal job. So thank you for that. I was made aware, I didn't know this, that we're one of the few districts that have a full orchestra program. I was baffled by that, but it made me really proud that we do that. And you guys do a phenomenal job, Mr. Burke, so thank you for that. Also, so my son got to go to NASA graduation, astronaut graduation day. So talking about STEM, and he was part of my Melissa and our kid. Her daughter and my son were part of the robotics competition this past weekend, and just to see how excited they get and the really cool things that are going on with STEM and specifically robotics are really cool to see. Also, just want to comment on the Porte Junior High Choir. I was very impressed with them, and more so with their selection of songs. You know, I love that we're not afraid in LaPorte to put Christ back in the classrooms, and so in that regard, I also want to say a personal thank you to Principal Grammer. Saw the news this week, so we're going to miss you, but I owe you a debt of gratitude. Those of you who don't know, he was instrumental in bringing the Youth for Christ student life ministry to LaPorte High School. So I appreciate the leadership that you showed on that and the support you've given us the last year and a half. So you're definitely going to be missed, sir. And last but not least, I wanted to say, I guess, personally say thank you to Mr. Stutter. That's very impressive. To give that amount of money over that period of years. I know you've been doing it for years, it's not that long. So thank you, Mr. Stutter, for the work you've done at LaPorte ISD.
Ms. Yolanda?
I just want to wish everyone a very restful spring break, because I know after that's a whole lot of testing going on. So, and thank y'all for all y'all do.
I, like Jeff, attended governance camp last week, and it's probably one of my favorite trainings of the year because of the student voice and because students lead classes, and then those same students will attend other sessions with us, so we get to hear their perspective on a lot of different issues, and it really makes your training that much more worthwhile. We enjoyed that. I know it's season for all types of competitions. I want to congratulate our swimmer that got 12th in state in the breaststroke, and I know his first name is Ben, but I will mispronounce his last name if I try.
Cicero.
There you go, it's that. And we've been having robotics competitions, lots of fine arts competitions from orchestra to band. Oh, and our bowling team, wasn't that impressive? Anyway, just all the things. It just makes everything exciting, and I like to see the kids doing what they love. It really makes the world of difference for them. So, just appreciate all that you do. Enjoy your spring break. And I've been to a lot of campuses lately, and I'm going to visit Heritage on Thursday to read for Read Across America, so I'm looking forward to that. And that's all I have.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I'm extremely impressed with the CTE program. Again, I think we've made huge strides there, and people are taking notice. If you weren't moved by Ms. Dietrich, she obviously, it says a lot about this community, and I know I sound like a broken record. Too bad I get the microphone, so I believe what I say and what we see, and great, extraordinary things are really happening here, and people just don't celebrate it enough. Speaking of celebrations, HEB finalists, I know that everybody in this room knows, but the world needs to know also that LaPorte ISD is a top 3 finalist in the state of Texas, is one of the best districts in the entire state, and you can't say that enough. And regardless of the outcome, to be in that company is truly remarkable, and a testament of everybody's blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen. Speaking of blood, sweat, and tears, like my segues, the Chatos went to their last regional competition this weekend and won about everything they could win. They had a lot of injuries and illness and everything, and they just really rallied around each other. It was really impressive to watch. As everybody said, there's a full slate of activities and competitions and sports and performances going on any campus throughout this district, and I urge people just to show up and support these kids, because they are doing a fantastic job representing them. Lastly, I'll close with this. Sorry, I knew I had a lot today. The LaPorte Sports Net was contacted by a third parent of a visiting campus that took note of the program. They did not have any other means to see their child or grandchild, and they picked up our network, and they've become loyal followers of the channel, and just are singing the praises of what these students do day in and day out with this program. It is bonkers what they're capable of, the technology. They'll splice things together and speak in all kind of geek speak, but it is truly amazing to see what they're able to produce and represent our district in the way that it does. It's really broadened our reach, and more people are taking notice of LaPorte ISD, so kudos to those kiddos.
Yes.
So I don't rarely have anything to say, but this past week, we were in 3 different state conferences where LaPorte ISD was highlighted. The TASB Governors Camp in Galveston. Adam and I presented, our Director of Communications, we presented at the TSFRA conference. That's his state conference. We talked about LaPorte ISD at a state conference in Sugar Land. And this past Saturday, LaPorte ISD was honored by the Texas Alliance of Black School Educators as a demonstration district, which means they sought out of 1,000+ districts in the state and asked us to come and present the wonderful things that are going on. And I wanted to share with the board just a token that they decided to share with us. So I just wanted you to see that. All right, but that too is LaPorte ISD on a state level. Okay, and Dr. Brown and several administrators and Ms. Viator and several others went with us to present at this statewide conference. So we got to figure out where we're going to hang that Oscar. Yeah, that's really bad. But we're proud of that. I mean, because they could have asked other districts to do that, but they asked us to come and share the wonderful things that's happening.
You know, it's important that we discuss this and we acknowledge it, because you get lost in the grind from so often. It just is so easy to do, and you feel like you're not making a difference, or you're not seeing the fruits of your labor. And these are third party people. These are people who have no affiliation with our district. They are under no obligation to sing our praises, and yet it's happening. more and more and more and more, and it's snowballing. So if you're not seeing it, you either don't want to see it, you're working against us, or there's something seriously wrong with you. So we'll go with that one.
Option 3.
But we'll go with option 3. We'll get a vote. But thanks again